Hey, what's up? My name's Lucas. I'm a photographer and filmmaker based out of West Michigan. Welcome to my channel. Today we are talking about the rumored future next camera in the Leica SL system, and that is the Leica SL3. So this is going to be a little bit of a different video because there's not really any B-roll to be shown, so I just wanted to let you know up front, it's going to be kind of like a podcast style video, a little bit unique to what I've done on the channel previously. So feel free to like throw in an AirPod or just like listen to it while you're doing other tasks. Little disclaimer, there's been no information about these cameras officially released. So this is all just speculation and just kind of exciting to talk about the future of the system, as Leica just released two new lenses for it, a 35 Summicron and a 50 Summicron, the non-Apo versions, a little bit smaller, a little bit cheaper, and a little bit lighter to travel with. Whatever your thoughts are on those, if they're just Panasonic lenses with a Leica badge, I don't think that that's the case, but it's exciting to see them continue to expand the SL system because it just shows that it is a viable system that is in it for what I think to be the long haul, which is exciting because I feel like the SL system really fills the gap in the Leica lineup. I bought a Leica SL2S last year, and then about 6 months ago I bought the Leica SL2, and they are some of my favorite cameras I've ever used. I think they're some of the best hybrid cameras on the market. For me specifically, I think they do exactly what I need them to do. And honestly, this is just a fun video to make because I love the image quality that's out of these two cameras. I'm really not like finding myself lacking things that I feel like, oh man, they really missed on this. I think whatever they add to the SL3 is going to be just a welcomed addition to the lineup. I wanted to make this video because I see on a lot of different forums, a lot of different groups, people are talking about, oh, should I get the Leica SL2 or the SL2S, or should I just wait until the SL3 comes out? And I think that I want to try to answer that for as many people as possible in this video. And I want to give just my 2 cents on what I think Leica should add to the SL3 system and what I think they should keep the same. First, let's just kind of dream a little bit about what the SL3 could be. The biggest thing I've felt this way since I got my first SL2S. I would love to have a wheel on the front of the camera right here that you can program to be ISO or aperture, even shutter speed. I like having my shutter speed at the top dial just because it's a really traditional spot to have your shutter speed adjustments. I understand why Leica has the ISO as a top button and then adjust on the back dial, but in practical use, it just becomes a little bit cumbersome. I know a lot of people use auto ISO on these cameras. That's totally a viable option. The auto ISO on the SL2S and, well, honestly, all of the Leica cameras is really impressive, but it would be nice if to have that wheel there that you can just change with your middle finger right on the front, and it could be aperture or ISO. That's how I would set it up, at least. The next thing would be an articulating screen. That's not a huge deal to me. I've had cameras that have articulating screens. My work has a camera that has an articulating screen right now, and I don't use it very often. The only practical application that I could see this helping is like filming YouTube videos. And I don't know, I mean, there might be a dozen of us that are filming YouTube videos on Leica SL2S or Leica SL2. I don't know if that's really the market that Leica is going for with these cameras, but it would still be really cool to have an articulating screen on it. Biggest thing that I want to see on the Leica SL3 is a cover on the sensor. So right now the sensor is just bare on the camera, and it would be so nice, and I feel like so simple for them to just put a little cover on it, similar to what like the M10 and the M11 have, or like the R3, Canon R3, Canon R6, Canon R5. Just cover that sensor so that when you're out in the elements and you're switching lenses, it's not as scary. The next thing that I would think would be really, really nice on these cameras is if it got phase detect autofocus. So Panasonic just came out with the S5 II and S5 IIX, I think it's called. And Leica has worked really closely with them. They've got the L-mount Alliance, and those cameras came out with phase detect autofocus. And I think that that is going to be maybe the biggest upgrade that they could make to these cameras. Currently, they're contrast detect autofocus, which isn't, I don't use autofocus a whole ton, so it doesn't make a huge difference to me. I've got the Leica 2470, and that is really, it would be really cool to have a really reliable autofocus system on that lens. Also, just for filming video, it is quite convenient to do kind of run and gun autofocus, but honestly, I'm very used to using manual focus, and I used manual focus for a long time before I got into these systems, so that's not a huge deal to me, but it would be nice to have the ability to just have autofocus that I could really rely on. So if they follow the same pattern that they followed with the SL2 and the SL2S, where the SL3 is a higher megapixel, more photo focused camera body, and then they come out with an SL2S that is more mid-range megapixels and more video focused. One thing that I would love for them to do is to integrate the external recording in the SL3, or honestly, it'd be great if they integrated that into the SL2 currently. I don't need RAW, but to be able to record to an external recorder like the Atomos Ninja 5 would be really cool. I would really appreciate that, and I think other filmmakers would appreciate having the ability to film 5K with their cameras on those external recorders. You could still use it as a monitor, but as far as I know, you cannot record externally to the Atomos Ninja with the SL2. But that kind of brings me into the next point. I would love to see a sensor similar to the M11, where it's that triple resolution sensor where you've got 60 megapixels, 38 megapixels, and 18 megapixels, so that you can get the really high resolution, really low light performance, all in one body. I think that that would be incredible. I don't know all the technology that would go into creating that with IBIS and autofocus and everything. Obviously, the M bodies are a lot more stripped back. There's no internal stabilization. There's no autofocus. So I don't know if having that would mess with it, but I do think some Sony cameras have that technology as well in them. So it'd be really cool to see that integrated into the SL3, and then having more video features on that so that it's kind of the best of the SL2 and the SL2S all in one body. As far as things that I hope that they keep, I would love if they kept the same battery, because I've got quite a few of them and they're really expensive and I don't want to start from zero on that. And I would love if they kept the same design. I love the design of these cameras. They fit really nicely in my hands, and they're comfortable to carry around. They're a bit heavy, but they feel sturdy. They feel like they're not going to fail on you. And then I hope they keep the really nice EVF. As somebody who wears glasses, this EVF is one of the best I've used. Should you wait for the Leica SL3 if you're in the market to buy a Leica hybrid mirrorless camera? Honestly, it depends. As somebody who I work doing photography and filmmaking professionally, and at the end of the day, I don't want to just gather gear and just invest money into gear that I never see a return on. And so I think that you get the most bang for your buck by buying used SL2, SL2S, and investing in glass. I really love these cameras. The image quality is incredible. The user experience is incredible. I've made a few videos on this channel about just long-term use, and I've got more plans on making more videos about these cameras in the future. These cameras are great. Now, if you are looking to have the latest and greatest thing from Leica, then by all means wait. But it might be a little bit, some sources say that it could be fourth quarter of 2023, right before Christmas. Other sources say it'd be first quarter 2024. And personally, I would rather have these cameras and use them for that year, than just sit around and wait or use a different system until that time. But back to my other point, the same reason that I just bought an M10 is why I'm not even considering buying an SL3 when it comes out, and that's price. I've mentioned it before in videos, but Leica is a very unique experience when you are a shooter, as they say, because they are collector's items. People collect them, but also people use them to make work, create content, for lack of a better term, to create art. There's kind of that interesting middle ground. And so buying them used for me has been the really only way that I've been able to be in this system. So I buy everything used, and it's going to be at least a few years before the SL3, when it is released, is at a point to where I could even consider selling my SL2 and SL2S to upgrade to the SL3, if that's even necessary. I think if you are using these as professional tools, it makes sense to get into the system now. These cameras, the SL2 is still selling brand new for $7,000. I bought this used for just under $4,000, and the person who sold it said he didn't even take it out of his house, because like it is one of those people just buy them and it's shelf decoration. Similarly, the Leica SL2S is, I think, around $5,000 brand new, and you can buy them for about $3,500 used. And kind of the same thing, getting them used, getting in the system, and then investing in lenses. As long as the system is one that you're going to stick around with, investing in lenses is going to get you way further than investing in the newest and best gear every year. One of the things that I love about Leica is they don't release a camera every year. They don't release a camera every 6 months. They take their time. They are intentional about what they do with it. And I know that whatever upgrades they make to this system will be really well thought out and welcomed. But ultimately, I'm really happy with this system. I think if you are a content creator, if you are a professional photographer, if you are a filmmaker, the SL2 and the SL2S are incredible options. And I don't think, unless you just have piles of money sitting around, I don't think you should wait to buy the SL3, because unfortunately these cameras brand new are kind of priced out of most artists' budgets. I hope that this was at least somewhat entertaining to talk about and kind of dream what the future of this system is going to be. I'm really excited I want to try the new lenses that just came out, even though people say that they don't think that they're Leica lenses, but they are. I bought the Sigma 2470 and then returned it and bought a used Leica 2470, and the difference is noticeable. It's a significantly better lens. I feel like that's kind of the same thing here. People just say that it's taking the easy way out or it's not real Leica, but it's they're great lenses, and I'm really excited to try the newer ones, and I'm excited that they're making more compact and semi-affordable lenses for this system. So if you're still watching, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.